think that's a table. I didn't do much to make it cute. Make the whole thing, so much. Yeah, the whole arrangements, the press the windows, yeah, wash the table, mainly that. Stacking. No, that's Marcy did. Good evening. If you're yet to grab the traditional horseradish kosher for Passover vodka, we have a lot of them on the table over there.
Hello.
Please do. It's a bad omen to end the evening with too many of them. Oh wow, there's way too many. We need them.
That's my copy. We're going to share them.
Especially if you have a cold, this horseradish vodka is going to cure it.
Not yet.
Good evening. Good Yom Tov, Chag Sameach, Happy Passover, Aziz and Pesach. Do you have more greetings for tonight? As long as you don't say Shabbat Shalom, you're good. So our tradition, all tradition, is to start our Seder with a horseradish vodka. Now, most vodkas are made of grain and therefore not kosher for Passover. But we have, this one I believe is from corn, which is kosher. What we do several days before the important holiday, we place some horseradish, real horseradish, the root, the thing that you cannot get at Publix anymore, but we know how to get it. We put it in the vodka, put it in the freezer, and that's what you have. So if you are brave or already tried it in the past and cannot wait until you do it again, let's take a little shot. It makes the entire evening more pleasant. And then we say, let's take the shot first. L'chaim. And if you must make a face, it's okay.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
And before we welcome Shabbat, as well as each and every holiday and festival, we light our candles.
And so if one or two representatives from each table would light the candles that are at each table, we will begin. Molly's going to help me light the candles? Okay. We'll hold it together. Ready? Hold my hand. Okay, one more. Okay, thank you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
And we have a beautiful tradition that some people do every Friday. Others do during important holidays like Passover and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, in which we, the parents, have the privilege to bless our children. 2/3 of my children happen to be here, so if you can just come, please. The other one happens to be in Casablanca. Yeah, that's too far. So the tradition is to place your hands on your children's head. You may close your eyes and just start with a blessing that comes straight out of your heart. And then we say the traditional blessing that God gave Aaron and Moses. Yevachecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you always know that God is with you, and may God bless you with shalom, with wholeness and peace, as we all say, Amen. And don't forget the Passover kiss. Mwah! Especially to the kids who don't like the kisses. Try to make it wet. Okay, I guess that's... So after we lit the candles and blessed our children, it's time to start the actual Seder. Seder literally means order. So the ancient rabbis, some 2,000 years ago, wanted to help us to celebrate this important night in an orderly way. So they gave us 15 steps for the night. We're going through each and every one of them. Most of them will be extremely short, just one act, but one of them, the part in which we tell the story, will be longer, but we will make it quite entertaining, educational, and hopefully meaningful. So the 15 steps are important for us, and therefore we have a melody that we're going to sing.
Kadesh Urchatz Karpas Yachatz Magid Rachza Motzi Matzah Maror Korach Shulchan Orech Tzafun Barech Halel Nirtzah.
And those of you who have a lot of experience with Jewish traditions know that wine is a very central element in all of our holidays, in our life cycle events. You know why? Only because it makes us happy. Wine symbolizes in the Jewish tradition joy, happiness, abundance. On Passover, we don't drink only once, not even twice. We drink 4 cups of wine. Now, it's for you, it's up to you to define the size of a cup. I don't want you to get into any danger. Now, here's the wine system here. We placed a bottle of red on each table, but we have 2 other tables on that side and the other side that have white wine, Menishevitz, that some people think that this is the official wine that was given to Moses by God on Mount Sinai, and without it, Passover is not the same. And we even have some grape juice for people who prefer it, especially those who are somewhat younger. There are many other bottles of red wine and white wine, so if you want to take more during the night, please help yourselves. Okay, so the first step of our Passover Seder is the Kadesh. Comes from the same root as Kiddush. We're making the blessing over the wine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'romemanu mikol hashon v'kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava moadim lesimcha chagim uzmanim lesason et yom chag hamatzot hazeh zman cherutenu mikra kodesh zecher litziad mitzrayim כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ומועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש ישראל והזמנים.
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
The second part of the 15 steps is rachza, washing our hands. During the Seder, we are going to wash our hands, or I'm going to do it on everyone's behalf. We're going to do it twice. First time, we're doing it without a blessing. We do it just to remember the times when the priest at the temples, the first and the second, used to do it before they would sacrifice the Paschal lamb. We'll talk about it later. When I do it again the second time, it's a very good clue for you that we are just about to eat. Okay? So take about 51 minutes from now, and probably that's when we'll do it. So I'm going to wash my hands, and that tool that was designed specifically for that is called Natzla. It has, as you can see, two handles for lefties, for righties. Yeah, the ancient rabbis were quite accommodating. So we hold it and we pour 3 times on, and then 3 times on the other. And the most revered tradition at Temple Betham, since we started to do these communal seders, is forgetting the towel.
It's underneath.
Oh, we have one. Oh, we just violated the tradition. We have a towel. We're moving along to the Seder plate. So I have it here, and this is the one that we used before. The Seder plate is one of the more confusing elements of the Seder. We've even had a little video about it, I believe, last week to explain some of the issues. The whole idea of the Seder plate is to have different kinds of food on it in order to entice the children and other people to ask, what are we doing here? What's the meaning of the egg? Why are we doing this? What are we doing with this bone, etc.? The items on the table, for the most part, are not for the sake of eating. You will have on your tables, you do have on your tables, everything that you'll need to eat from it. So the 2 elements that are normally not eaten are the bone. Here we use a shank bone. In Israel, the most common one is chicken wings. As long as we have a bone that symbolizes God's mighty arm, okay, God's strength, we don't eat it, okay? The egg, in many places now we do eat, but originally it was not eaten, and the bone as well as the eggs are reminders of the 2 sacrifices of ancient times. The bone stands for the Paschal lamb, and the egg for the Chagigah sacrifice, the sacrifice that people offered every holiday. But since the year 70 of the Common Era, almost 2,000 years ago, we don't have a temple in Jerusalem, we don't have priests, and therefore we don't have sacrifices. So all we do have are symbols. Okay, so these are the bone and the egg. We also have two confusing things. We have the horseradish and the bitter herb. You don't need them both. One bitter herb is enough. So why we have the horseradish on the plate? Well, because people put it on the plate and they started to make these plates with 6 places. I grew up with only 5. There was no place for horseradish. And we normally use other things, but we have both. Should you like it? Definitely if you eat the gefilte fish, you need to masquerade the flavor of the gefilte fish with a lot of horseradish. We have the green leaf that we'll talk about very soon, that we will dip in salt water, which you also have on your tables. Okay? Salt water, for some reason, never made it into the Seder plate. We have the charoset. Charoset is this sweet, wonderful thing. Doesn't look really appetizing, but it's really good. And all the charoset here is Sephardic charoset that is made mainly with dates and a lot of nuts and a secret ingredient that I guess it's illegal to manufacture in most states because we make our own alcohol for it, so don't tell anyone. And hopefully Livestream can erase it. But we make our own from cherries when they are in season. So I think I covered the whole thing. And now we continue with the green leaf, right? That's the next thing. So you may have, for the green leaf, what do you have on your plates? You have parsley, it's very common here. And it's a nice one. And if you can have a piece of it. And before you eat it, we're going to dip it into the salt water. So we have the green leaf that symbolizes spring, symbolizes renewal, symbolizes that we are sophisticated people. That was the idea of the ancient rabbis, who before they sit down to eat, they dip vegetables in something. Okay, so we dip it, we say the blessing, and then we eat it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adama.
And since some people say that Passover Seder is a very cruel event, because we spend more than an hour staring at empty plates, and we people, especially we Jewish people, don't like to stare at empty plates while listening to a rabbi and a cantor talking and singing for an hour. So we put some other things on the table for you just to nourish throughout the next 47 minutes. If you can, try to avoid the matzah. We gave you matzah crackers that are not matzah because the mitzvah is to eat matzah for the first time after we are done with this part of the Seder before we eat. So just help yourself. We have some homemade chopped liver made by Bruce Cohen and others, and some other good things. You want to?
So help yourselves to some nosh, as we'll call it. And I know some of you are already familiar with the people at your tables, but this is a great opportunity to introduce each other and maybe to answer the discussion question. So we'll read it together. Spring is known as a season of renewal, re-energizing, and change. The question to answer is, what are some things you would like to renew or to change this year? So we'll give you a few minutes to discuss as tables. Feel free to nosh, feel free to introduce yourselves, and answer our discussion question.
The main goal of Passover Seder is to teach and learn the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And we are going to do it in many different ways. We're going to sing songs and we're going to do some funny things. But the first thing that we are going to introduce tonight is some trivia questions. And I have to tell you, it's not going to be easy. And please, if you can do it, don't use your cell phones, because I can tell you that some of the answers that you will find are not correct.
And so it's time for our first trivia question. Let's see it. What is the meaning of the word afikomen? Is it Greek for the word dessert? Is it Hebrew for the word hidden? Is it Aramaic for unleavened food? Or is it a name of an old children's game? What do we think, folks? What do we think?
Who thinks it's Hebrew for hidden? Who thinks it's Greek for dessert? Who thinks it's Aramaic for unleavened food? Who thinks it's a name of an old children's game?
All right. Are we ready for the right answer?
Let's see what it is.
Greek. So if you were correct, and let's be honest, we're honest people here, give yourself 1 point for trivia tonight.
And you'll get an extra matzah at the end. But actually, this is the story of the afikoman is a really interesting one that many people don't know. So we learned that the meaning of afikoman is dessert, or the food that we eat at the end of the meal. Now, the rabbis told us some 2,000 years ago that the last thing that people have to eat at the Seder is the Paschal lamb. Okay, not the sweet stuff, but the actual Paschal lamb. And why is that? Because they wanted people to live with the taste of the Paschal lamb in their mouth. So they said, conclude the meal with the Paschal lamb. Now we don't have a Paschal lamb for the last 2,000 years. And instead, and that's the next thing we are going to do, the rabbi said, we are going to use the middle matzah. So traditionally, and that's what I'm going to do, we have 3 matzot here. So we take the middle one and break it into 2 pieces. Now, the only thing that I can tell you for sure, these pieces are never equal, no matter how hard you try it. And tomorrow when you'll try to make all this matzah pizza and try to cut it into 2, it never works. So you take the big one, and this is going to be the afikomen. I messed it up, I'll take another one. Now, so the rabbi said that the matzah now is a replacement for the Paschal lamb. Okay? Remember, this is the last thing we should eat at night. And here comes a beautiful tradition. Since in order to conclude the Seder, we must eat this matzah, children started to steal the matzah. And then went to their parents and said, if you want to go home tonight and to end the service, you have to pay us for the matzah. Okay, they used it as a ransom. And still today, this is the tradition. And the reason that most rabbis loved it is that it helped to keep the children engaged and awake throughout the long evening. Okay, so the original tradition was for the children to steal the afikoman, to hide it from the parents, and then to ransom it. Or, as it developed in other communities, the parents hide it, and then at the end the kids find it, and they say, if you want it, give us a prize. So we will hide the afikoman, and after the meal, the children will go on afikoman hunting, okay? So this is the afikoman for you.
Beautiful.
Oh, you have, can we use it? Thank you. And we have a wonderful afikoman bag. Did you bring the vault as well? We're going to put it in the vault where we put all the important papers of the temple. Well, no, we don't have any. It's all on the cloud today. And we'll hide it later. Thank you. And, okay. Ready for the big part of the Seder? The Magid, the telling of the story? Yeah, let's
let somebody else tell it, maybe.
Yeah, we're going
to... Is there
to...
someone else who could tell it here? Maybe Billy Joel? Maybe?
It's 9 o'clock on a Seder day. The annual crowd's shuffled in. There's a Zaidi sitting next to me, making kiddush for all of his kin.
He says, sons, do you have any inquiries? Like why we trade bread for matzot? And this maror we eat, dipping bitter and sweet. And why we don't keep the door closed?
Oh, ma, nishtana.
La-da-di-di-da.
God set us free from the Pharaoh man. That's why we rejoice tonight. And Jews, although pursued by the enemy, with God's help it turned out all right. Nation of Israel was tired and sore, praying for redemption someday. Moshe Rabbeinu came and burst through the door. He said, hey, let us out of
gave us broken backs, but then we were gone in a hurry.
Well, the Pharaoh, he changed his mind.
Yeah, but we never had it down.
Mordecai's bread can't rise up. It's time to move out. We're moving out
Out of Egypt.
Oh,
Clean the house, change plans, strangers in a strange land, celebration, Jewish liberation, reading from the Haggadah, Adirhu and Chadgadah, 10 plagues, 4 sons, who knows one? I know one. KP, house clean, father buffer to Zuzim, Geffen, Liebers and Kedem, next year in Jerusalem, Dainu, Charo said, we sold all of our chametz, tell me what is all this for? I can't take much more, Maro. God set a bush on fire, Moses saw it burn, and still today we're learning. God set a bush on fire, and when we are gone, we'll see the flame burn on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woke up so red, woke up so white. Tonight is different from all other nights. It's 'cause of what God did for us when we made our exodus.
Don't know where to hide it.
I'll take it.
Yes, thank you for 613. They make our life easier every holiday. They have a new skit and they're getting better. Now we're going 2,000 years back to a more traditional song. And this song is about the matzah that is known in our tradition as a bread of affliction. And I have a question for you. How do you call a person who loves the bread of affliction? Masochist.
Halach ma'anya diachalu, achalu avatana, be'ara be'ara demitzrayim, be'ara be'ara demitzrayim. I invite everyone to look up at the screens and to read with us. This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate when they were slaves in the land of Egypt. Remembering the poor food of slaves, tonight we welcome anyone who is hungry to come and eat at the Passover meal with us. Now we are here. Next year we hope to be in the land of Israel. Now we are slaves, and next year may we all be free. Halach ma'anya diachalu, achalu avatana, be'ara be'ara demitzrayim, be'ara be'ara demitzrayim.
And the best way to learn something is to ask questions. And therefore, we continue with the 4 questions, the Manishtanam. Now, let me tell you something that may shatter everything you know about Passover Seder. There is not exactly a consensus among modern scholars, but some believe that the term 4 questions is not accurate. They believe that originally there's only 1 question and 4 answers. So the question is, Ma nishtana halayla hazeh? how this night is different from all other nights, and then we have 4 answers. But that's not the way we sing it. We sing it as 4 questions, and hopefully by the end of the night, you'll get answers to all of them.
And do we have some nice children? Maybe you're the youngest in your family, and you would like to help us with the 4 questions? All right, come on up. You're young. Come on up. It's time for the 4 questions. We need as many children as we can get. Are we ready? You can stand on both sides. We have 2 sides of this table. מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה. הלילה הזה כולו מצה, הלילה הזה כולו מצה, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. הלילה הזה מרור, מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מטבילים אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. הלילה הזה שתי פעמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבינו מסובין, בין יושבינו בין מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובין. Thank you, children.
Yeah, even 2,000 years ago, the rabbis knew that different people learn in different ways, and different people have different strengths, and therefore they were talking about different kinds of children, and we have a way to do it tonight.
So, straight from Broadway, we have some amazing actors here tonight. Please give it up for our actors. Where are you, actors? Come on up. One, two. We're missing one. We're missing two. And we're still missing one. We're still missing one. All right. The Passover Seder is in full swing with family members gathered around the table.
Okay, children, it's time to hear the story of Passover. We have the 4 children here to listen and ask questions. The wise child, the wicked child, the simple child, and the child who doesn't know how to ask.
Father, can you tell it?
Closer.
Just closer.
Father, can you tell us the story of Passover and explain its meaning?
Excellent question. Excellent question, my wise child. Passover is the story of our liberation from slavery in Egypt. It represents our freedom and the start of a new life.
Oh, great. Another boring story. Can we just skip to the food already?
No, we can't skip the story. It's an important part of the Passover Seder.
don't really understand. Can you explain it again?
Of course. Passover is how our ancestors were enslaved in Egypt and how God helped them escape to freedom. It's the story of hope and strength.
I don't know what to ask.
That's okay. Just sit back, enjoy the story, and ask any questions that come to mind.
Okay, I think I get it now.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
I'm excited to learn more. Can we eat now?
Yes, we can eat now. Now let's enjoy our Passover meal together.
The children smile, and they sit down to eat happy and full of the spirit of Passover. Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause for our actors as well.
Did you enjoy it? Do you want to hear something really scary? It took Marcy and I 4 seconds to do it. We use artificial intelligence for that. We just wanted to see how it works, and it was not bad, right?
It turns out it works.
It turns out to be quite good. So I'm telling you that probably I'm going to lose my job in the next few months because AI will write much better sermons, but it was nice knowing you all.
And so at this time, it is time to tell the story of Passover, and it's your turn. So as I come around with the microphones to each table, if somebody would volunteer to speak into the mic and read from the screens, we'll all read together. But we'll start with table number 8. You had your bar mitzvah.
Once upon a time, our people went into exile in the land of Egypt. During a famine, our ancestor Jacob and his family fled to Egypt where food was plentiful.
His son Joseph had risen to a high position in Pharaoh's court, and our people were well respected and well regarded.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Table number 11, it's your turn. I see you over here.
Do with me. Ready? Generations passed, and our people remained in
Egypt.
In time, a new pharaoh ascended to the throne.
He found our difference threatening and ordered our people to be enslaved.
Our oppressors feared that even as slaves we might grow strong and rebel. So Pharaoh decreed that all Israelite baby boys should be killed.
Thank you, table 11. All right, I'm coming over here. I know you're far away, but we are still with you over here. What table are you? 15.
There's nothing up there. Oh, there it is. 2 midwives named Shiphrah and Puah defied his orders. Through their courage, a boy survived. Oh, there's
somebody else.
Fearing the boy's safety, his mother and sister placed him in a basket and he floated down the Nile.
Okay, table 15. Thank you. Are we 16 over here? All right, we have some readers over here.
What are we reading? He was found and adopted by Pharaoh's daughter, who named him Moshe, because from the water she threw of him forth.
Thank you. A reader?
She hired his mother, Yocheved, as his wet nurse. He survived into adulthood and was raised as a prince of Egypt.
Okay, thank you, table 16. All right, I'm coming back on this side. Let's see who's it gonna be. Over here at table 5. You raised your hand, so I had to.
Although a child of privilege, as he grew, he became aware of the slaves who worked for his father.
Somebody else over here? You want to do it? Okay.
Once, when he saw an Egyptian overseer mistreating a Hebrew slave, he was unable to control his anger, so he struck and killed the Egyptian.
Thank you.
Knowing his life would be in danger once the news of this deed spread, Moses fled into the desert, crossed the Sinai to the land of Midian, where he became a shepherd.
Thank you. Another reader.
One day, while tending sheep on Mount Horeb, God spoke to Moses from a burning bush. Though it burned, it was not consumed.
Thank you.
God called upon him to lead the Hebrew people to freedom.
Thank you. Dramatic reading. All right, over here. Any readers from this table? Any nice voices over here? Yeah? He pointed at you.
Moses argued with God, pleading inadequacy, but God disagreed. Sometimes our responsibilities choose us. I will be with you, God promised him.
We've got one more, I think.
Moses returned to Egypt and went to Pharaoh to argue the injustice of slavery. He gave Pharaoh a mandate which resounds through history.
And does anyone know what that mandate was? Thank you all for your participation. Yes, a round of applause for our readers. But no, you're not done yet. Because we've got one more. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Old Pharaoh, let my people go. When Israel was in Egypt's land,
Let my people.
that's right, that's your part. They pressed so hard they could not stand.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses,
Moses,
way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. The Moses went to Egypt's land.
Let my people go.
He made old Pharaoh understand.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses,
Moses,
way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus said the Lord, bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. As Israel stood by the water's side,
let my people go.
God's command it did divide.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses,
Moses,
way will go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. You thought I forgot about the trivia questions, but it's time for trivia question number 2. Who's already got 1 point out there? The next question, why do we spill the wine when reading the plagues? Is it to show that as a free people, we have more than enough? Is it to get rid of the curse embedded in the wine? To symbolize the verse that God punished the Pharaoh with his finger? Or no one really knows? What do we think out there?
Who thinks the last one is the correct? Who thinks it's because it symbolizes God's finger? Who thinks it's because to get rid of the cares? And who thinks it's to show that as free people we have so much wine that we can just spill as much as we want? The answer is?
The answer is to get rid of the curse embedded in the wine.
Okay, you probably want an explanation for that, right? Have you seen Harry Potter or Gargamel or any sorcerer? Whenever they are going to cast a spell, they normally have a potion, right? So they hold either a bottle or a glass and they go something like that and then poof! And there is a curse or something bad happens. This is not a new image. For thousands of years, people believed in sorcerers and curses and potions. So when the people saw a glass of wine, and then people say over the wine, the plague of blood and frogs and all these horrible things, they say, oh my God, this wine is full of curses. So what do? We take the curse out and just spill it. If you think I'm not correct, let me just give you the opposite of it. Every Friday night and before holidays, and we did it about 39 minutes ago, we take a glass of wine, and what do we call the thing with the glass of wine? Kiddush, right? We place a blessing over the wine. So that's the opposite of that. So before we say the plagues, which are all these curses, we dip our finger. Some people believe that the pinky is the most appropriate one in the wine, but this is not the entire story. We don't just take it out and throw it on wherever. We put it, we have the special paper there, right? Because it said, if we have now the curse in our finger with the wine, let's not waste it. Let's ask God to place the curse on our enemies. So the first act is taking the curse out with our finger and then to place it on our enemies. So let's recite the 10 plagues in Hebrew and in English.
Sardeia, frogs, kinim, lice, arov, wild animals, dever, livestock disease, shchin, barad, hail, arbe, locusts, choshech, darkness, makad bechorot. Just a little costume change. Our people were running quickly, no stopping to even bake. They dreamed about a new homeland, not simply for their own sake. They saw what must lay before them, the Red Sea they could not pass. They all turned to look at Moses. He needed to move quite fast. through the Red Sea. Through the Red Sea, God cleared a pathway. It was great. Take it from me. Yes, it's a miracle, you see, and you can tell from all the glee. Scampered, he hampered through the Red Sea. Egyptians were right behind us. The path they go. Soon as they were there, that closed down the show. Egyptians were not so lucky. They drowned on the water's floor. Our people marched on to freedom. What more could we ask God for? Sing it with me. Through the Red Sea. Through the Red Sea. God cleared a pathway. It was great. Take it from me. Yes, it's a miracle, you see. Onto the shore we dance with glee. We were enslaved there. That's why you should care about the Red Sea. All right, I want you to look under your seat. You might have a scarf. And this is your time for a little dance break because you've been sitting for way too long. So come on up and dance. Take a little stretch. If you've got a scarf, wave it around. Woo! We've got napkins and scarves. Through the Red Sea, through the Red Sea, God made a pathway. It was a great day. Take it from me. It was a miracle, you see, and you can tell from all the glee. We were enslaved there. That's why you should care about the Red Sea. Every year we read it. Would you believe it? Through the Red Sea. We were the slaves that walked through the waves. The history made there. Now we have Seder. We were enslaved there. That's why you should care about the Red Sea. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcy, and thank you all of our dancers. We didn't want you to think that all we do for entertainment is putting a video up on the screens. That's not our style. Oh, are you ready for trivia question number 3? You have to ask it because you know how to in the official way of trivia questions.
Okay. I gotta put my feet back on here. All right. Question number 3, and this is your last question for the evening, so make sure you've got your thinking caps on. When was Dayenu written? Was it during the time of the First Temple? Was it during the Middle Ages? Was it during the time of the Second Temple? Or was it at the beginning of the Zionist movement? Rabbi Alon, tell us the answer.
I guess we can see the answer. Who really thought it was the time of the Second Temple? So the most important thing for me is that for more than a decade, probably 2 decades now, I always check Wikipedia because I want to know how well Wikipedia is informed about Jewish topics. And I have to tell you the truth, it's really good. Wikipedia is, most of the time, it's accurate, however, not for this question. Because if you ask Wikipedia, it will tell you that Dayenu was written in the Middle Ages, and it's not accurate. So what is Dayenu? Everyone loves this song, right? Dayenu, everyone loves it. But this is a collection of 15 stanzas in which we thank God for different gifts that God has given us. Dayenu means that would have been enough. We start by saying, if God only freed us from Egypt, it would have been enough. But no. God also gave us the Torah, and that would have been enough. But no. God also took us to the land of Israel, etc. But the list of 15 gifts ends with God built for us the temple, which led most scholars to agree that that's when the song was written. Because in the last 2,000 years, there were many different events that if it was written really during the Middle Ages, they would have been mentioned there. What is true, that the first Haggadah we have is from the Middle Ages, from the 9th century, and there we find the song of Dayenu for the first time. It's called the Haggadah of Rabbi Amram Gaon. But the song probably is older than 2,000 years. Most even say before the Hasmoneans, before the Maccabees of Hanukkah. I think it's time to sing it now.
We're going to read first, and then we're going to sing it. Please read with us. If God had taken us out of Egypt and not judged the Egyptians, let's hear it. That was a strong Dayenu. If God had torn the sea in two and not led us through it on dry land.
Dayenu.
If God had given us Shabbat and had not brought us to Mount Sinai.
Dayenu.
If God had brought us to Mount Sinai and not given us the Torah.
Dayenu.
If God had given us the Torah and had not brought us to the land of Israel.
Dayenu.
And let's sing it.
Dayenu. You want to help us to dance here? That's nice.
Dayenu.
Dayenu. Dayenu. Dayenu.
Dayenu. Ilu Hotianu, Hotianu, Mitzrayim, Hotianu, Mitzrayim, Dayenu. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Thank you. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu Natan, Natan Lanu, Natan Lanu et Torah, Natan Lanu et Torah, Dayenu.
Dayenu.
Dayenu, 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 Dayenu.
Oh, before the last verse, we forgot. We like to follow an old, probably Iranian or Persian tradition. Do you have some scallions or green onions on the table? They're there for a very good and poorly educational purpose, because we're going to use it to strike very gently the people next to us. Yes, we have to keep you awake, and we did not invent it. So when you go Dayenu next time, gently. Natan lanu et Torah, Natan lanu et Shabbat, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Let's move on to the next slides, because we have 4 more minutes. So let's read together what Rabban Gamliel 2,000 years ago used to say. All who have not explained the significance of 3 things during the Pesach Seder have not yet fulfilled their duties. The 3 are the Pesach, the Paschal Lamb, the Matzah, and the maror. So the matzah we eat because when the children of Israel left Egypt, they didn't have enough time to wait until the bread, the dough, had enough time to rise, so they had crackers, and hence the matzah. And maror, the bitter herb, is to symbolize the bitter life of our ancestors in Egypt. Ready for the second cup of wine?
You
We're
can
having-
refill if you need to.
If you need to refill, or you can do it now. And let's say the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim. Remember, I told you 63 minutes ago that the second time I wash my hands is for the sake of dinner, of eating. This time we say it with the blessing. So do we have the blessing on the screen? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, וציוונו על נטילת ידיים. And after we wash our hands, it's time to get ready for hamotzi. So this is the time that I would ask you to take a real matzah. Would you take a matzah? The blessing for the matzah throughout the festival of Passover is a regular blessing for food. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. But today we have a special blessing only for the Seder for eating a matzah. Okay, so let's say the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
And we eat a piece of matzah.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al achilat matzah.
And before we move along to our dinner, we're going to follow what Hillel used to do, his special sandwich for the Seder, in which we take 2 pieces of matzah and we put in between 2 things. We put the maror, or the bitter herb, and we complement it with the sweet charoset. Okay, so matzah, sweet and bitter. We didn't do the maror yet.
It's in there. And we'll do the blessing of maror.
And then we'll eat the sandwich.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al achilat maror.
And now we eat Hillel's sandwich.
And now it's time. Time to say goodbye to those who are watching on our live stream. So everybody give a wave to the live stream people. Thank you for joining us for Passover. We're going to end the stream here. Chag Sameach. And for those of you who are here in person, it's time to eat. Are you hungry?